What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Boo Bros Podcast episode, Who Knows What? Because that's right, everybody. In case you didn't already know, it is extremely hard to get a group full of guys together that all have different schedules to film a podcast. But we're here since we have time in our busy lives. Joining me on the panel today, of course, me, SoCalExploring, we got Robert Kardashian from the Howling Hour. We got Eddytainment from Eddytainment. We got Chris from Zombie Chris.
The one and only.
The one and only. And Michael from Hollow Thrills, everyone's favorite Pennsylvania vlogger.
Hey, road to 420 subs. Woo! Gang.
Guys, I think it's pretty obvious why we're here. There's been a lot of haunts that have gone down, a lot of haunts that haven't happened, but I feel like we have just one mega podcast. It's going to take up a lot of time. So today we're here to talk about the haunts that have already happened from the East Coast to the West Coast and share our thoughts on it, get into all the nitty gritty details, maybe talk about some drama here and there. But yeah.
Dun dun dun.
What should we start with? East Coast or West Coast? Because I kind of just want to start with East Coast.
Let's go East Coast.
Let's go East Coast.
We should go back
East
and
Coast,
forth.
the best
Let's go
coast.
East Coast. Let's start with I guess the one that all of you guys have been to, which is HHN. Because I was gonna start off with HallowScream or Sim. But we'll talk about Halloween Horror Nights 31st.
All right, so
I meant 31st.
Halloween Horror Nights 30, opening night.
Opening night.
Yeah,
Opening
Chris,
weekend?
we went.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't win.
Go, apparently.
I guess you just forgot that you went.
Michael's been using reused footage from last year when he went to Halloween Horror Nights, and they noticed it. Somebody noticed
Yeah,
it.
apparently someone figured it out. They noticed it because it wasn't raining, even though,
Yeah.
And remember, it was impossible for
raining.
him to get through it.
Yeah.
Because he lied.
Yeah. I am a liar and a deceiver, and no one should follow anything I say with any belief.
Yeah. So, opening weekend of Halloween Horror Nights. I don't know how we're going to show up on the video, but for me, I see the three East Coasters on the right-hand side. But myself, Michael, and Chris were all at Halloween Horror Nights 30, which 30 years, 30 fears. Anthony, in your video, you said 30 years of fear. Naughty, naughty, West Coaster. Naughty, naughty.
You gotta give him a break. You gotta give him a break. He's a West Coaster. It's his first time.
Naughty, naughty West Coaster.
Tisk, tisk,
But I had an amazing time, dude. I don't know if we're gonna break down into like the actual houses and whatnot, but even with the freaking rain, I was so glad to be back. It was miserable for the first hour or two.
Maybe not me.
But that Florida heat will dry you right up. I was dry after an hour or so. But my feet never got dry. That was the worst part. My socks were all wet, but the houses were amazing. We did Stay and Scream. So we were there nice and early. The night was actually sold out, both first nights. They stopped selling multi-night tickets, so we didn't want to risk it. We got in there early.
Here's a hot tip.
Go ahead.
Buy your tickets early, because I didn't learn, and I told you all to buy your tickets early, and yet I did exactly what I told you.
And
not
apparently don't do Stay and Scream either, because what was that mess about?
So I think Stay and Scream is a really good concept, and mostly if you're not getting express. It's almost a must. But it was pretty messy, and I think it's only because we decided to go to Springfield when originally we were going to go Finnegan's, and Springfield had Beetlejuice and Hill House, which had huge lines for the majority of the night. People tried to get it out the way, so if you were in that Stay and Scream, it got pretty packed. And they were funneling the people out of Springfield, so for the meantime, you were in the Marathon of Mayhem show area up till they cycled you into the houses. I don't want to be the only one that talks. Chris was there with me, had a blast with that guy. We all did our own vlogs, but Chris, why don't you chime in? How was your experience?
So remember, Michael wasn't there opening week.
Awful. For those who don't know, I despise the rain. Actually, I despise the rain, and I have a fear of lightning. So those two happened while we were doing Stay and Scream, so that was great.
There's
Shout
a
out
man
to
who lives in Florida.
I was gonna say, but keep in
Yeah, I
mind,
know.
Chris lives in Florida.
Shout out to Oscar, by the way, who brought everyone umbrellas. He's an honorary Boo Bro member. Thank you, Oscar. And I actually, what's funny is I did the first night over in Simpsons, and then the second night I actually did at Finnegan's just to compare the two and see which one was overall better. Finnegan's is hugely better. You don't feel cramped. You're not waiting in just a single line unless you want to line up for a particular house, but you do have freedom to roam around the New York streets. You can like find some shade and just chill out and wait till the house is open. Other than that, we did the houses. We were soggy. We went into a house and then came out into even more rain. Mike, you arrived a little bit later, right?
Like
Yeah,
11 o'clock.
I don't know what you guys are talking about with that rain, man. I showed up at 11 and there was no rain in sight. It was great.
Son of a bitch.
I had a fantastic time. I was dry all night. I got through 7 houses. It was fantastic. I had a fantastic time, man. I don't know what you guys are complaining
it's
about.
so funny because that's the same way it could be for Hollywood. If you just wait till like 11, you could have just got all the mazes done super easily.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody in the beginning was trying to get there early, but being early this time didn't really help out in Orlando.
Yeah. It took me longer to get through the last 3 houses that I didn't do on the Saturday, like the next Saturday at the very beginning of the event, than it took me to do the first 7
Wow.
at the end of the night.
That's crazy. But there was like this aura and this community during the beginning, even during the rain. Ask Chris. The people were like freaking chanting while they were under the rain, like woo!
Yeah.
Because we were up there like videotaping them, like all these poor people, and they were all like.
I remember
taking
I
it
was
like
watching
champs.
the vlogs and I was like, "What are y'all? Like, that's so mean."
I felt bad doing it, but I was like, well, I want to show the experience of how awful it was waiting out in the rain for those poor folks.
Yeah,
You
some
know
of the
what's
houses
funny is
got
like
flooded.
with the HD cameras that like we all have, it picks up the rain a lot better now, so you can really see how much of a mess it was
Oh.
watching it back.
Dude, and some of the houses actually closed for a bit because they got flooded.
Yeah.
The
Puppet
tent houses.
Theater
Yeah,
was delayed.
How
'cause
do
it
they
was,
even like clear
flooded.
that out without anything getting damaged?
a broom, dude. They were brooming the water around.
Damn,
Yeah.
They were just brooming the water out.
that sucks,
Um,
man.
Yeah, but also with the humidity and everything there, man, stuff
just
evaporates
dries up.
so quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the houses were freaking amazing. Hill House was awesome. I think Wicked Growth, that was ridiculous. There's an area in there that I don't want to ruin, but there's this effect that they use with the ground, which was amazing.
So cool.
And funny enough,
Yeah.
real quick, while you talk about Wicked Growth, when we went in, it was the part where we were soaked. And for me, wearing glasses, like literally my glasses were like so wet and everything was wet. So I couldn't wipe them. So halfway through the house, I'm like squinting my eyes because my eyes are burning from like the sweat and water. And I'm like going through the house being like, I can't see you scaring me. Like I can't see anything in this house. So I really didn't even get to see that house until the second night, actually. So it was kind of cool to like kind of have a preview of it and then actually see the house.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing is that, like, what is your top 3 houses? All 3 of you.
I'll
I think
I'll
we're
start.
all going to have similar answers.
That's what I've seen in the
Possibly.
community. It seems like everyone's on
Yeah,
agree.
because everyone I've talked to who's ever came up and said they watched the Boo Bros or watched my channel, and I always usually ask them like, hey, so what is your top favorites? It's always consistently like the top 3, which I think is going to be our 3. Mine is Hill House, Icons, Wicked Growth right now.
Yeah.
In
My-
that order, 1, 2, and 3, or 3, 2, 1?
No, well, I don't have an order right now.
Oh, come on.
That's
you
just
gotta
his
have
top
I
something.
3.
can't do it.
That is my current order, and I did Icons and Hill House twice. I didn't get a chance to do Wicked Growth a second time.
Mike's
But-
trying to put pressure on me.
I got Wicked Growth 1, Hill House 2, Icons 3.
I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say Tooth Fairy,
No,
TCM,
Tooth Fairy-
and
Guys, I don't know if you
and
remember this or not,
Beetlejuice.
but Mike was such a hater on Hill
Yeah.
House before.
Look at him. Hill House top 3.
Hill
Get
House
outta
is
here.
so good.
He's
It really
sweating.
is.
He's sweating.
Hill House. No, I said in my video, I put it on Twitter. I was like, I will admit, I can be a man of my word, and I can say that I was wrong.
Now you
I'm-
got to
They
admit that you
proved
weren't
me
there on
wrong.
opening night.
I'm clipping that, and then I'm doing a false interview, and I'm gonna say, Michael, how do you like the Haunting of Hill House on Netflix? It is
Oh, it's
so
trash.
good. No, you're gonna say
Trash.
no. I'm gonna clip this video, and you're gonna say Hill House is so good.
Anyways, no. So I got through. Those were the ones that I got through the most. I got through Wicked Growth 3 times, Icons 3 times, and Hill House twice.
Yeah. I've heard Wicked Growth is amazing. I watched all the walkthroughs. The freaking the Pumpkin Lord at the end. Sick.
So, he's so cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I'm going to church right now.
Yeah, the interactions with him are so great too.
Yeah. And one thing that we learned through a tour that we did is if you pay attention, that house, the actual like roots actually, as you start, they begin really small, and through the house the roots end up getting larger as you get closer to the Pumpkin Lord, because you're getting closer to like the heart of the actual like house.
Yeah, that's awesome that you guys like had that big group for Unmasking the Horror. Just a whole group of friends. That's like awesome. I wish that we had something like that here in Hollywood, like, because it'd be awesome to like walk there with Rob and Tony. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You guys all got to hang out.
You guys don't have like behind the scenes tours?
No, we have RIP, but that's just
Yeah.
like for the night of.
Oh, damn. But before we get into that, dude, Marathon of Mayhem. Amazing. I freaking love that show. I watched it one time like up in front, and then every time it started, wherever I was in the lagoon, I stopped.
Okay, so I need to know you guys' honest take on this, because I've seen people say that it's just worse than last year's, but then I've seen the people that say it's amazing.
So Connor brought up a really good point. Last year's houses and IPs
Or
were much
29,
more.
not last year.
Well, yeah. 2 years ago, were much more musically inclined. They had amazing like scores, like what's it called? Killer Clowns,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. So there was these foundational elements that made it easier to with the music and then the imagery.
Mhm.
So I think if you were to drill down, maybe that makes it that much better. But this one was no slouch.
It's like neck and neck. I mean, the last 2 years ago, that show was pretty much perfect. There was no way they were going to top that. And yet I felt like the theming around the park, with the music being like so metal driven and very rock heavy, it fits with that, because half of the show is not 80s Sith. It's very almost rockish, and it fits Jack's sort of persona, the newer Jack.
Hardcore.
So it all fits cohesively. There's only like one part in the show which I think is kind of a slight letdown or a slight drag, and that's when they switch to Texas Chainsaw Massacre's part, because it's kind of like the part where the show is so amped up, but then that part they slow down just to kind of introduce it, but it builds it back up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you can obviously tell if they had Beetlejuice in there, it would have probably made a much better
yeah.
show.
Yeah, but they had the icons, they had the classic monsters, so like there was a lot in there, and just to see Jack kind of running the show, and you keep seeing his face, hearing his laugh throughout the park, was awesome in my opinion. I enjoyed it just as much as the original, but if I had to go like head to head, I may give the original just a little bit of a better rating because of the music.
Yeah, I still haven't seen either show yet.
Oh.
Oh my
I
god.
know, I
Wow.
had
Oh my
so many other
Ba-dum.
things. I had so many other things to do that were way more important than watching the show opening weekend. The shows are more of a prolonged trip thing when I actually have more time.
But
to-
marathon is what, 10 minutes?
10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, you
So
know what
look,
could do in 10 minutes?
I watched.
I could go
opening
through
night, all right?
Brides at least once.
I
Because the lines
literally
for Bride was so short, literally both days.
I took a
Oh.
food break, got a savory crepe, which those things are delicious. Ate it while waiting for the show to start. Watched the show, and then went and did 4 houses.
Anyways, now that Michael's been lying about his whole opening weekend trip, and if you look at his YouTube comments, then you know for a fact that he's been lying.
No, those comments don't exist anymore.
They're detectives. They're detectives. The haters are detectives. Okay.
Yes, they are. Yes,
hate
they
us
are.
because they anus.
So you know,
Boom.
Orlando had their fun. Hollywood got their fun, which Rob and I were both at. Rob and I did some cute shit together on the tram.
Yes, we did.
Aw.
Yes, we did.
We rode a row apart. It was crazy, man. Anyway, so I want to say first off, right off the bat, is Hollywood. You know, we knew it was going to be like a subpar year, but it is kind of crazy how it wasn't as bad as everyone was thinking it was going to be. Like there's like obviously Exorcist is the Black Walls king, but aside from that, there was little to no Black Walls at all. There's none in Hill House, none in Texas Chainsaw. There's a few in Brides, none in Halloween 4. It was so nice with a low budget, you know? And I think the overall vibe of the event was this is fun. Like we're having a good time compared to thinking about which one's the best, why is there no detail here? Why is that? It's just more like, okay, it was a good, fun time.
I had an issue with my ticket, so that wasn't fun. But
We'll get into the operational drama in a couple minutes.
overall, I was happy to be back at the park. Again, I wasn't, normally years you go there and you're like, oh, well, this maze probably looks better than this maze. And yeah, you kind of do that. But at the same time, like Scott was saying, I was really surprised with the lack of Black Walls. I think this year they got more creative. I feel like with the lack of budget, they probably were like, okay, we got to entertain them somehow. And, let's get our creative juices flowing. And like Scott was saying, the very few Black Walls, Exorcist, the exception. But again, the whole time I was there, the vibe that I got is that people were just happy to be back at HHN. So, it was a good vibe throughout the whole park, except for my ticket.
But I want to know how the Jabberwockies was.
So I walked by the Jabberwockies.
Did you watch it?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Okay, good. I may have had to kick you out of Bros.
Yeah. I walked by and I saw the mask, the huge mask that they have there, and then I kept walking, and then so it was entertaining.
I walked by, and I was like, I have priority. Should I do it? I turned around and walked away.
I thought Rob's story was going to have a little bit more of a climax. He said, I walked by and then I kept walking.
I thought he was going to say he walked by the Jabberwockies themselves.
Actually, fun fact, the
one.
Jabberwockies mask is where Rob and I first met for the first
Yes,
time.
yes.
I want to put that out there.
Yes.
So-
And then I performed some kind of ritual towards Scott, and then we went about our way.
Yeah. And then we went on Terror Tram, and it was awesome.
Yes.
I think that it was nice because Terror Tram, like, it's not the greatest, and by all means, there's no way this even ranks to the best Terror Trams, the Purge, but having Terror Tram back is like an exciting thing. Like you're going through all the mazes and then you remember, oh, Terror Tram's there. It's so nice to have Terror Tram back, even if it is bad. That's just my take on it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I've been going to HHN for a while now, and to me, I like the Terror Tram. I thought I was upset when they took it away, but also, the way my mind worked is, the Terror Tram is a crowd eater, so you're going to take away people from the crowd, from the park itself, and get them on the Terror Tram, and that's less line for me to stand in. So that's also another reason why I was glad the Terror Tram came back.
Which,
Win-win.
speaking of crowd eaters, Thursday opening night was a sold out night, right?
Yep.
Did not feel like a sold out night. There was like practically no waits other than in the very beginning. And then Friday and Saturday, which mind you aren't sold out night. Actually, I think Saturday sold out, but Friday wasn't a sold out night. I'm seeing posts about 180 minutes for Exorcist and people
Gee.
trashing Potter and people like not being able to walk. So like, what the hell? Like, where's the operations at? And I get it. It's fresh. It's opening weekend. We should see an improvement next week. It is just a little bit scary because what if the government or like, whoever's in charge shuts that shit down because they see no COVID protocols being enforced. But I will say COVID protocols are really good with like everybody putting on their mask when they went in the mazes and everything.
Did the mazes have vinyl?
So they didn't have vinyl. They had scares. It was like like kind of like a scrim effect where if there's the lights on, then you can see that whoever's behind it, and then if it turns off, it just looks like a wall.
Oh, that's kind of a smart way.
Which honestly, I'm happy that you brought that up, Chris, because that really helped out the mazes a lot compared to just putting vinyl up.
Yeah,
because they can bang on the walls and stuff. With vinyl, you can't. Bang on the wall. It's like.
Did they have face masks?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay.
The ones who aren't wearing an actual mask had face mask. Which I want to ask you, Rob. Do you think that affected it at all?
No, I don't. Everything that they did as far as for safety protocol, I don't think it actually did anything negative or positive from my experience in walking through the maze. I think everything was just fine the way it was.
It just felt like the same.
Yeah,
I am happy that they're taking care of their actors. So
yes.
Because
did you notice any difference in the scare zones with the characters? Like, did they stay away or were
no? They were in your face. They're normal scare actors in your face. Because like I said, they're probably wearing masks underneath like the big mask that they have, but the ones who aren't wearing those, they have a face mask on. So I guess that's a good thing. Like, the scare actors were the exact same in the scare zones. They're in your face, chainsawing you.
Chasing people around.
Literally, it was wonderful. I felt safe. I know some people aren't comfortable yet with walking around without their mask on and everything, which to each their own. Right. But I did feel safe while attending the event, which was really nice. I think for me, the top three in order would be Bride of Frankenstein, Hill House, and Texas Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw impressed me.
Ooh.
Texas Chainsaw impressed me a lot. I was so shocked.
So I would probably have to go Brides first, Texas Chainsaw, and then Hill House.
Bride, Texas Chainsaw. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I went through Texas Chainsaw twice, once during the day and then once at night. And doing it at night kind of helped it for me as far as the atmosphere. But that I thought this was going to be this kind of like the sleeper of the event, and it did not disappoint. Brides was beautiful, and so was Texas Chainsaw. So was Hill House, but Texas Chainsaw had just like everything about it. I felt like there was a story in every room. It wasn't like any empty spots. Like every it just flowed awesome. Everything about it, I really enjoyed it. So it surprised me, and I'm glad it did, because it knocked it out of the park for me.
So did you guys watch any of the POVs, East Coasters?
Only Hill House.
I watched Bride of Frankenstein.
So what's your take on that one compared to Orlando's? Like, just from watching the POV.
I like the concept more of like the vampire hunter type thing. Like, it gave more of a storyline of why, like, how like the Bride of Frankenstein got Dracula's bride, stuff like that. So it made a little bit more sense. Now, I wanted to go back to what you said about there being like only a few black walls in there. It was still a little bit more than I'm.
Oh yeah, I said in Brides, but that's because in Persian Courtyard there will always be black walls.
Yeah, because there were like
black walls again?
Literally,
it's
black
like this.
walls.
No, Persian Courtyard will always have black walls.
Yeah, but there were like sections where it was like a black wall and then like a story page, like a book.
Oh yeah.
That was about
lazy.
it.
That was a little bit lazy. You're right.
I literally saw that a couple of times and I was like, that's really.
But when you go through it and you see the scenes, then you just completely forget about those.
So your guys, I love our like Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein scene at the very end, like where he's with on the operating table.
Yeah,
your guys' Frankenstein scare for that scene is so much better than ours.
Oh, the Stilt Walker.
Yeah, like he can get so much more like he's so much more active than ours.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, because in
really like
Orlando's
that
he does
scare
just
more.
kind of like chill there, you know.
He well, it's different now. They updated it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because of no vinyl anymore.
But no, it's an actual actor. I think last year it was just a static.
Oh yeah, you're right.
prop.
It was just a little like
It was
it
just
was
a
a-
static Frankenstein. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's now an actual actor now. But I still think your Stiltwalker Frankenstein is way more dynamic of a scare.
see, since I went through both, like I said this in the vlog, is like I can appreciate both of them equally, just because they are two different experience, like completely different. Like you said, like yeah, the vampire hunter story in Hollywood's, whereas you don't have that in Orlando's. But in Orlando's, you have these big scenes, and you can see how exactly she's using the brides to bring back Frankenstein. You know, with the was it the laughing stock scene? Is that what that's called? Where she's sucking the blood out of one of Dracula's brides.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's showing like how she's using that to bring back Frankenstein, where we don't have that as much.
Yeah.
But we do see
Marilyn
how
Manson
she
scene.
gets them, you know. Oh yeah, I just got what you said.
uh,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, HallowScream is you know, around the corner for San Diegans, but it did happen in Orlando, Tampa, and Williamsburg. So Chris and Eddie, you guys went to Orlando's and Williamsburg. So give me your takes on it.
Wait, hold on before you guys go. I have to bounce because I'm on a time schedule right now. But I just want to say I love all you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be alone now with the West
Oh,
Coast.
All right, bro.
So I'm here.
Wish me luck.
I'm here in spirit, Scott. I'm here in spirit.
Okay,
Just
okay.
when you feel that thing.
Now we're gonna gang up on him.
Just put a black wall up.
Yeah, just put a black wall for me. All right, a little later, guys.
Peace out. HallowScream Orlando, HallowScream Williamsburg. Go.
You start.
Do you want to start with the better ones or the worst one?
Well, I guess
Oh,
I want to start with the new one. I want your take on this new event.
All right. So SeaWorld, this is just odd to say. SeaWorld has a actual scary Halloween event, much disparate to what they had before, which was more so for kids. They brought HallowScream to the Orlando location to combat Halloween Horror Nights. And from what I experienced, I gotta say it's a good start. I wasn't expecting very much going in, but I call it the port of entry, which is like the first section you walk in. They had they didn't have stilt walkers until later because of the weather, but there are some stilt walkers. There's plenty of female dancers. I don't know what's going on with SeaWorld and HallowScream and just having go-go dancers, because they are literally
I was seeing all those videos. I was like, what is this, a strip show?
they're like in the main section. They're in the first bar that you go into behind there. There's like at least 4 dancers. There's actually another bar that has like a person doing like aerial Cirque du Soleil stuff above you, which is crazy. There's scare zones spread throughout. There's, I believe, 5 scare zones, 4 houses. The houses were solid. They were really, really good. If you've been to HallowScream, you know their type of scares and the type of environments they do. They don't do big elaborate sets. They do very minimal sets, but it's very dark and it's very cramped. And the scares are usually very loud, aggressive, like grunts or banging on stuff. And that flow, from the houses to the scare zones. And the sirens themselves were mentioned here and there throughout the scare zones and in the houses, which was kind of cool that they, kind of wrapped around the story of them.
okay.
Sure.
That was like an abrupt
That was
stop.
Okay, well, before we end on that, okay, do you think for a first year event it exceeded your expectations or stayed the same or did not exceed your expectations at all?
I think
Like,
it
didn't get there?
exceeded mine.
It did?
I'm still currently thinking like, dang, I want to go back again because I have the season pass
Because of
to
the go-go
experience
dancers,
it at least one more time, huh?
It's because of the go-go dancers, huh?
No, it's because of the tickets were very cheap to get the season pass. Losh
much was it?
actually, I think it was like less than $50.
Because
Just
there's
for the
one for
season
Tampa
pass.
and Orlando, right?
Yeah, that's the one Lodge has for both. That one was, I think it was, might have
think
been
that's like
less
90.
than 100 and something.
There's one for all SeaWorld parks too, including Williamsburg.
Wow.
Damn.
Now that one
the
is
platinum.
crazy.
Yeah, well, because if Orlando delivered good on their first time event, I'm excited for San Diego's on Friday. Because I think that a lot of people are doubting it, especially being in the SoCal haunt area. You know, we have the Not Scary Farm and the Horror Nights, but everybody's doubting this event. And when it's good, everyone's gonna come cover it. And I'm like, hey yo, I've been covering this for a while now. What y'all doing? Ever since you watched my video and realized it was good, huh?
Get out my territory.
So I think new eyes need to come on SeaWorld, San Diego. So I'm excited for that. The new eyes are going to come. But I'm also excited that Orlando's was good because that was a first time event being at SeaWorld. You know, it's at Busch Gardens all the time, but being at SeaWorld is a whole different story. So I'm excited and I'm happy.
Especially if they bring it back next year. I believe Icebreaker.
They already announced it too.
Yeah. So already announced 2022. So I'm assuming Icebreaker, because the route you take, you go right by Icebreaker, like right by the entrance. Don't you enter
right by Wild Arctic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which was new for me because I haven't been to SeaWorld in quite some time. So I was like, whoa, what is this gigantic icebreaker? This is cool. I'll never ride it, but it was cool to see that in Mako because I've never seen those coasters in person before. So
could you imagine if they extend it throughout the whole park next year? Because that park is huge.
I don't know if they will. I don't know if this was just a test and that's why they only kept it on that side. I don't know if it's because that area they can use for haunts and stuff, because I think Lodge has stated in some of the videos he done for the updates that the area where they've had the bar in the first house and sort of the port of entry was an area they only kind of use for like private entertainment. So I don't know if they would open up the entire thing. I guess it wouldn't hurt, but it is a gigantic park.
They have IP, right? They have IPs that they may not be able to use.
Well, they have
right?
Sesame, but I think that's
they would probably have to roam around that. And then it's the thing with the animals. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say the animals being sensitive.
That part of the park, I don't think there was any animals or exhibits or anything whatsoever.
I think, and on the side that wasn't open, they got like manatees and turtles and like a whole bunch of animals over there. So,
yeah.
Well, Williamsburg, Eddie.
Williamsburg. I was happy.
That'll be easier to speak on because you've had a Williamsburg event.
Yeah, I mean we've had several Williamsburg events, but I'm glad to see them back. And I think they came back in good fashion. They added 3 new houses, but coincidentally enough, from my first experience, I've only been to the event one time, but I will frequent it several times. Is the old houses actually held true and were better than the 3 new houses?
Wow! Ouch.
Yeah, and it may just be me being a little biased because they're like, you know, the houses that I'm used to, but Cirque du Sinistro and Dystopia were really good. Cirque du Sinistro especially. But then they had the 3 new houses, which in the 3 new houses, one thing I could say 100% that they've done new is the scenic design. So now when you walk through their houses, you could tell that they've taken a little bit more effort to tell a story, not just with the characters, but with the actual rooms that you walk through. So like the rooms are actually set up to look like what that room is supposed to be. Very detailed. You know, the Killer Knee Diner was impressive. I did not expect that house to be that good as far as like scenic design. I didn't have any actual like thought of what the house was going to be like because I didn't understand the actual description of the house. I said it in my video. It was like all this like they talked about it like in an Irish way, but once I walked through the house, I was like, damn. And like, you know, you start your story, you're in the back of the diner where the cook is, and they're like chopping up the bodies and everything. And then you slowly make your way into the actual like diner floor where they serve food. But out there, they're basically murdering the patrons and bringing them back to the kitchen to make more human food. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty cool. Scare zones were really good as well. It was sad to see some of the like oldies gone, but the one scare zone that stuck out to me the most was Meat Market. That replaced a scare zone called Axe Alley of the past, and Meat Market was, I guess it was very reminiscent of Killer Knee Diner, so it worked really well with the event because it was these cannibalistic people roaming an area, which was really cool. The event was not packed, so that was really nice too. I got through all the houses really easy. I had quick queues to get through all the lines, but the quick queues that I got were like these pass holder quick queues, and it seems like the employees weren't familiar with them, so they kept on giving them back to me. I'd be like,
that's
here's
what they do to Adrian at SeaWorld. Like when we went to SeaWorld together, he's like, they never take him from me, and they never took him from him.
Yeah, dude, they're taking everybody else's quick queue, like the formal one that you purchase, because that one, like, you could punch a hole in it, right? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, because do you have like just a receipt one?
So mine, I don't know where I put it. So it just has a barcode on it. It doesn't have like the different houses, so you can punch holes for one time, right? So it's
just run through.
Yeah. So the person in front of me would give it to them. They would punch a hole through them or scratch it out, whatever. I'd give them mine, and they look at it and they'd be like, "You good?" So I was like, "All right." And they're one-time quick queues. There goes Scott. But overheat. But the event wasn't too busy, but I ended up using the quick queues a few times because Witch of the Woods was really busy, and that's a house that's also shared in Tampa. So I want to head back to Florida. I want to head back and check out Tampa and Orlando HallowScream, but specifically Tampa because I want to see what Witch of the Woods is like at the Tampa location. It was pretty good for Williamsburg. The one thing was I didn't see the witch but twice in the whole entire house, which was kind of interesting, you know, Witch of the Woods. But the times that I saw her, she did look really cool, and she looked a lot like what the commercial looked like. So
that's nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Aside from that, I'm just looking forward to going back to the event. I'll probably be back there this weekend.
I think that overall the haunt community just needs to watch out for these HallowScream events because now that they're popping up at all the parks, it seems like they're putting up some good competition.
Yeah. There's even one in Austin, which I only found out by.
And I've heard that one's like really popular there, which is crazy.
Their website looks awesome.
Yeah. So, and that was like, I'm pretty sure one of the OGs that did it. So, but I know, Michael, you've been waiting to talk about this. This will be our last haunt that we talk about on today's show. Field of Screams, Pennsylvania. They hooked the Boo Bros up with the media passes and everything. So huge shout out to them. Michael got to experience it. Tell us your takeaway.
Honestly, Field of Screams was a great time. That was my first time actually there. I've lived literally an hour from it my entire life and never really went around to it. But I finally was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we got media for it. Let's head over there. And it was a great time. All of the mazes and slash houses and trails and whatever you want to call them, they were all really like well done. It's a little bit different because they end up keeping the exact same ones over and over again and just change different scenes. So like if you watched our video for it, you saw the little interview that I had with Gene, one of the owners, and he was talking about the additions that they're planning for the 30th anniversary, which is next year. And he was saying about how like they try to change at least one or two scenes of the houses every year. So I just think that's really like a cool thing, like because you know how HallowScream does, like they bring back stuff and don't really change it up as much. Is that how it works? I'm not really familiar.
Well, I would say the fair comparison is just like all local haunts. They don't really ever change stuff up.
Like one house, they'll change a year.
Yeah, but like I just think it's great that they try to keep it at least a little fresh for people. But even the hayride, that was my first hayride. I thought it was really good. I didn't really know what to expect heading into it, but just the entire event overall was really great. And of course, they had to have the scare that they did the most at the entire thing was chainsaws. There was a chainsaw section in literally every single like attraction, and chainsaws get me so easily just because they're just loud and in your face, so they just get me super easily.
You know what I heard you talk about while editing it, which I thought was cool the most, is the ups and downs.
Oh yes, a lot of elevation. I was not expecting that. It was just a lot of like ramps going up, ramps going down, ducking underneath of stuff, crawling, having to go through like tunnels and stuff. So it was like a whole bunch of elements to keep you off of looking for scare actors. So I'd like go out from under, like I'd go into a little like tube tunnel, and I'd come out and there'd be a scare actor right at the exit of the tunnel. So
I'm bummed that Dark Harbor's not happening this year, because they always had you walking up steps, walking through foam like soap. Like they just added those elements that normal mainstream haunts wouldn't add.
Yeah, just stuff to get your eyes off of looking for like stuff. It's just it's honestly ingenious. It's a really great idea.
Well, I think that overall that event looks great. Like the overall vibe of it and everything, like this kind of like fairground setting looks so neat.
Yeah, I really can't wait to go back. Hopefully we get another chance to head back when they do one of their like other events, because they do events all
they're one-off
the year.
events.
Yeah, they're one-off events for like Christmas, halfway to Halloween, Valentine's Day, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Like I said, a huge thank you to HallowScream, because that I've seen that event like on like Travel Channel, and just a bunch of people posted it. So I was like, oh, cool. We got such opportunities to cover it from Boo Bros, and Michael's literally so close to it. It's awesome. And we still got tons of Pennsylvania haunts coming too.
Ooh, so many. It is going to be great. I am so hyped for this year.
Michael's like living his best life right
life,
now.
Man. I am living life.
And that's all thanks to you guys. For real, when we say we appreciate you guys, we really do. I know Chris has been talking about a lot, how lots of people have been coming up to him and Losh talking about the Boo Bros and everything. And that is just like, that's meaningful. You know, when you guys are talking about specific content to us in person, that is like, okay, you guys are real dedicated like supporters, and we all really appreciate that.
Oh, nobody noticed me.
Hey, Eddie. Same.
I was right next to Chris and Losh, and nobody noticed me.
Well, you got Losh, who just talks to literally every single person, and Chris is just a household name in Orlando.
Hey,
I know.
Eddie, I noticed you.
Oh, yeah, you scared me too when I was
I
walking out.
scared
I was like doing my closing, walking out of the park, and he's like, "Is that Eddytainment?" I was like, "Oh shit!" What?
Literally, like, was power walking by him on my way back to Beetlejuice to get the last house. I was like, "Holy shit! Is that Eddytainment?"
And just to think, this is the beginning of haunt season. There's still so many haunts that each of us are going to do. And we've already taken away so much from the haunts that we have done. I think that this year is going to be an amazing haunt season. I'm excited. Not scared for him tomorrow. HallowScream on Friday for me. What about you boys? What's your plans?
So for me, I got Busch Gardens again, probably this weekend. Then do some updates for King's Dominion construction, but King's Dominion at the end of the month, and then Sir Henry's to start October. Maybe possibly another trip to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, and then probably Six Flags.
Fright
Fest. Yeah, Six
Fright
Flags
Fest.
America in Maryland.
Ooh.
Ew.
A new territory.
Nah, I'm. This is my 1 week that I'm off. I got nothing this week.
Come
And
on, Michael. You got to find some little shitty haunt like next year.
There's a slight chance I go to Fright Fest at Great Adventure, but I don't know, man. I went through one house there during their like preview, and it was shit.
Look, I understand.
It
That's
was
how
so bad.
That's how our Fright Fest is too, but it doesn't matter. You got to do it for the haunts.
Nah, after that though, the following weekend I got Eastern State, and then we're going to Reaper's Revenge, and it's going to be a wild ride to close out September through October. It's going to be great.
Oh, and I might go to Carowinds.
Oh, damn. Let's go.
Yeah. It's only like 5 hours from me.
Chris, what's up with you?
What's up with me? I have Halloween Horror Nights again at some point in the near future. I also have Sir Henry's coming up, media night for that. Me and Lash should be going to Phantasm Orlando, which is a horror con, but they also have like a actual haunted house inside. So that'll be interesting to see that. At some point, I got to make it back out to SeaWorld's HallowScream again, just to see kind of follow up, see how that's going to go. And I'm sure back to Horror Nights at some point to close that out.
See, y'all, we have lots of content coming on our individual channels as well as the Boo Bros channel, because there will be new haunts that we'll be experiencing this year. So be looking out. Subscribe to all of our channels. Everyone's links will be down below in the description. As always, guys, we have been slacking on content, and I'll be the first to admit that, but it was just the break before haunt season. Now that haunt season's here, you can bet your asses that haunt coverage is coming. So someone bet their ass with me.
I can't help but look at the cartoon version of Scott.
You know what? Screw you. I'm gonna turn on my camera to close it out. Hold up. Here we go. Start video.
Wow. Image edge webcam. The anticipation is killing me. There he is. Backwards hat. Whoa.
Let's go. Sideways too.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yo, he's achieved a new level.
Yeah, you just unlocked a new character. Tipsy Scott and Twitter Scott. But that's gonna do it for today's Boo Bros podcast episode, guys. If you're new here, subscribe. Okay. I'm Scott from SoCalExploring.
I am Zombie Chris.
From Zombie Chris.
I guess.
I am Eddy from Eddytainment.
I am Michael from Hallowed Thrills.
And he's not in here, but
Rob
from the
Kardashian.
Howling Hour. Robert Kardashian.
Robert Kardashian.
We've been the Boo Bros. Catch you guys in the next one, and stay spooky, everybody.
Stay hallowed.
Stay hallowed. Eddytainment.
Have you been eddytained?